McDonald's is one of the most iconic fast food joints in America. However, I think it can be even better if we use Texas barbecue ingredients. So today, I'm gonna recreate two of the most iconic McDonald's dishes here at the Bar-A-BBQ pits. All right, so before we get started, I thought the best practice would be to actually go to McDonald's and get the most iconic dish on their menu. And that is the Big Mac. Everyone knows what this is, knows what it tastes like. It's been on every commercial, on every TV in America for the last probably 40 years or so. But like I said, we're gonna make this way better today. All right, first step for a Big Mac is you gotta have the burger meat. So I have got two 4.5 ounce patties. These were 70-30 meat to fat ratio from our prime brisket trim. I've already got them weighed out. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of start to form them because Big Macs are not smash burgers. So if you don't have a fancy handy dandy burger press, don't worry about it. Just do your best kind of forming them into about a 4.5 inch patty. And guys, if you want to see the full detail on how to make this exact grind, go check out our smash burger video. We go into a little more detail on how we did this and why we do it this certain way. I'm gonna season this top side. I'm gonna get it and throw it on the screaming live fire griddle top we have going. All right, I've got my Rio seasoned salt here. Put a nice layer on one side. Let that salt activate. So give it about 10 minutes or so. Let it penetrate that protein, get all nice and wet. And we're gonna put these seasoned side down right on the griddle top. All right, like I said, seasoned side down. It doesn't really matter what kind of griddle you want to attack these burgers with as far as a Big Mac brisket burger, but we chose to try and go as close to a flat top as we could. You know, that's what they use at McDonald's. That's how we're rolling today. If you don't have access to this, you can use a cast iron skillet, a regular skillet on the stove top. If you have a Blackstone's a great option as well. The biggest thing is just make sure you give it time to form a nice brown crust on that cooked side down so you get the nice Maillard reaction with it. I'm gonna go ahead and get our sesame seed bun toasted off. And you do have to have two bottoms for a true Big Mac because, I don't know, they're weird on why they had to use two bottoms and one top, but who am I to judge McDonald's? They're kind of the king of a burger. I'm just a dude in Montgomery. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit these other side now with a little bit of salt. This bun should be nice and toasted off. I did toast the middle bun on both sides, trying to get a little bit more texture on that, so should help out a little bit. All right, these burgers are ready to rock and roll. They are cooked all the way through. Shooting for an internal temp of around 155, 160. They're gonna like carry over a little bit further, so they'll hit that magic number of 165 as they carry over. So let's get these up top and assemble our better than a Big Mac brisket mac. All right, and now for the worst food of all, lettuce. Why we have to have lettuce on anything, I have no idea. It's rabbit's food. Why we put it on top of meat and act like it makes it better. I don't know why we're lying to ourselves. But to stick to the Mickey D's takedown that we were doing today, we're gonna shred some lettuce for you guys. I have literally gone, not that you guys won't believe this, because you know I'm such a healthy, fit looking guy, but I've gone almost my entire 32 years on this planet and not eating lettuce. There's your Cooper bingo card fun fact of the day. I'm gonna kind of roll the lettuce up real tight and try and see if that helps me shred it up a little bit better. I'm trying to go for a super, super thin shred. Kind of something like that. Shredded rabbit food. There you go. This is cool, but what makes a Big Mac is the Mac sauce. So let's get cracking on that. All right, Mac sauce time. Let's get the dry ingredients in first. We're gonna start with a ½ teaspoon of onion powder. Now, I'm gonna be full disclosure here. I just Googled a random Mac sauce recipe. So this one is the closest one, in my opinion, I've found online. So there's a bunch of them out there, but this one's pretty simple. So ½ teaspoon onion powder, ½ teaspoon paprika, ¼ teaspoon of iodized salt. I'm gonna get all the dry ingredients first. I'm gonna kind of mix those up by hand so they're nice and even. I'm gonna put in our wet stuff. ¼ teaspoon of granulated garlic. All right, we've got the dry ingredients in the bowl now. Let's get some of the wet stuff in there. We're gonna start with half a cup of mayo, which was in the kitchen, not downstairs. And we sent Shane downstairs to get the mayo. He won't be too upset with us.
Yeah, we're recording. We have it.
Quiet on set. All right, so we're gonna get half a cup of mayo, and we are using Hellmann's. Get that into the bowl with all the dry ingredients. I'm going to put half a teaspoon of white vinegar in there. That's my half a teaspoon. I don't know if that's really right or not, but close enough. And do 2 teaspoons of mustard. I gotta be honest, guys, this is like every ingredient that I do not care for into one sauce. So thanks, Ronald. There's 1, there's 2. And then I finely minced some white onion. It says to mince it, you know, to get some of the juices out. That's as close as I could get. So I've been told that the real trick is dehydrated onion and just rehydrate it with a little bit of water. That's the way to do it, but we may do with what we have on hand. All right, there's everything in the devil sauce. Let's get it mixed up. I'm not gonna lie, it does look a lot better after I mix everything up. That if you wouldn't tell me what's in it, there's a good chance I'd probably eat a good amount of that. All right, the dirty mac sauce is done. And I just snapped, so I know the editors are gonna love hearing that loud snap in the background, but we're still rolling, editors. All right, everything is ready for the brisket. I don't know what we're calling it at this point in time, but it's better than friggin' Big Mac. So bottom bun, I've got 2 bottom buns, because again, McDonald's is weird. Step 1, I've been told, mac sauce. So we're gonna go ahead and spoon that on there, spread that around. We're then gonna go a little bit of that beautifully cut shredded lettuce by yours truly. Should we go burger next?
It's supposed to be onion and burger.
Shane has told me it's supposed to be onion, so we're not gonna go burger next. We're gonna go onion first. Let's get patty number 1 of our brisket patty, and then good old plastic American cheese. Bun numero dos. I'm gonna put a little bit of burger sauce on the bottom side of that bun. Put that on top. I'm gonna put some more burger sauce on that bun. And then again, because McDonald's is so weird, we're gonna go in reverse order of what we just did. A little bit of beautifully cut shredded lettuce, rabbit food. I'm putting extra on there because I cut it really well. So next patty. Let's throw our last slice of cheese on there. This is a very tall burger. It's a Big Mac. I didn't know until I read up on it that for whatever reason, a real Big Mac only has 1 slice of cheese on it. That's so stupid. More burger sauce. We got the picks. Boom. That is the Bar-A Big Brisket Mac. But no Big Mac is complete without some homemade fries. So let's get cracking on some fries. As I've got 3 russet potatoes here, I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut up, and then we're going to rinse these and let them soak for probably about an hour or so before we get them going. I'm gonna let these soak mainly to get a lot of that starch out of there and just help when they kind of fry up to get a little bit crispier. But I am not a food scientist. I'm just gonna do what all the YouTubers do. I'm also not the best with a knife, but I try. I'm looking for about a 1/4 inch thick potatoes, kind of my thought process here. I'm gonna get them kind of cut up into the thickness I want and then strip them out from there. Looking for maybe something like that, I think. Like a McDonald's fry to me. And we are going to cook these in a bunch of beef tallow I have sitting around. We always have that sitting around the restaurant, so I have already put that into my pot on the stove and let that kind of get up to temp. I'm trying to get that to about 375, 385, somewhere around there. Cool. I've got those cut up. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse them, try and get some of that starch out of there. I'm gonna soak them in a little bit of salt and some water and kind of let that get a little bit more of that starch out of there. We'll rinse them one more time. We will then lay them out on a sheet pan on some paper towels and pat dry them off. All right, these fries have been soaking for about an hour, hour and a half now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out of this saltwater mixture and get them patted dry off. I've got this laid out on a cooling wire rack. You definitely want to get these as dry as you possibly can because hot oil, water, not typically the best combination. So We'll lay them on here, and I'm just gonna go through and just start patting them dry with a paper towel. I do have the beef tallow up to about 375, 380, so it should be plenty hot enough for these fries. I'm gonna get them in there. Kind of have to small batch it. I went with a smaller pot for the tallow, so I'll get them in there. I'm probably gonna let these air dry out for about 5 minutes, maybe on this wire rack before I throw them in. But we'll throw them in, fry them up to a nice golden brown, and then we're gonna toss them in some of the seasoned salt we have, because I just think seasoned salt's better than just straight up MSG salt from Mickey D's. So let's check on our oil and we'll throw these fries in. All right, we have the oil up to just shy of 400. We're gonna go ahead and drop these in, small batches at a time. I did them in small batches because I'm an idiot and used too small of a pot. So you reap what you sow. Get a nice golden brown color. We'll let these bad boys kind of drip some of that oil onto the baking sheet. Anytime you fry anything, you definitely don't want to just toss it straight into your bowl right out of the fryer. It's gonna end up getting all soggy on you. So to try and develop and keep some of the crispness, we're gonna let them sit on that wire rack before we put them into the bowl, which this bowl is just gonna be for tossing them into the salt. Fries are a little bit softer after they sat out for a little bit, so easy fix for that. Double fry them, throw them back in. But again, it's all personal preference. If you like a little bit more of a softer fry, just do the single fry. Take them, like I said, take them a little bit darker than you think you need to when you're doing fries, but I like them super, super crispy and salty, so I'm gonna double fry them and get them nice and crunchy. All right, fries have been double fried. I'm gonna put in about a 1/4 cup or so of seasoned salt. Go ahead and toss these bad boys. And once we get that finished, we'll go on to the next recipe, the McRib. All right, guys, we're gonna get into this rack of ribs here. So super simple. Once again, we're going to keep it pretty standard as far as the seasoning. The pepper first, the seasonal. We're gonna leave this membrane on today. I actually think that by pulling the membrane off, you don't allow the fat to render in these ribs, and you kind of lose a lot of the just goodness that pork fat has in its product. So it's also, you know, Texas and we're outdoors and there's flies everywhere. So if you want to leave the 1000th comment about flies again, I don't care. We're gonna cook these hot, smoky, and fast. So I'm hoping to have these done in about 3 to 3.5 hours. I'm gonna wrap them pretty early. I'm gonna wait till I get a good amount of color on there. I'm trying to overcook these. I want these rib bones to just fall out of there. All the cartilage are coming out of this thing, and it'd be a super, actually good McRib sandwich. So let's get them seasoned up. It's Attack of the Flies. Shane, my beautiful PA, thought this would be a great.
Now I'm your PA.
He thought this was gonna work. Let's go inside and season these ribs. These are awful today. All right, guys, the flies are so bad outside today that we went ahead and moved inside. I'm gonna get these pork ribs seasoned up. We're gonna go outside and put them on the rotisserie to get them cooked off today. So once again, I'm gonna go ahead and do our 16 mesh black pepper first. I know a lot of you think I'm just crazy for doing this, but I'm telling you, if you put salt first, it's going to hurt your finished product as far as the color, the evenness, blotchiness. I don't really know, you know, I saw a comment the other day that there's a scientific reaction or reasoning why salt first is better. Go ahead and keep doing it. But if you're gonna keep whining about getting blotchy barbecue, then don't come crying to me, as I'm telling you why you're getting blotchy barbecue. Quit doing salt first. I'm gonna season pretty heavy as normal with pork, especially a rack. This rack was super, super marbled. Anytime you have a protein that's really, really marbled, like Wagyu beef or something like that, you definitely want to go heavier on the salt because there is so much richness in that protein. You've got to counteract that with some salt. So don't be afraid of salt with the more higher marbled proteins, pork or beef. And this rack was super, super nice. So I'm not going to be afraid of the salt this time. I'm gonna go a little bit heavier on the black pepper today than I probably normally would. And by a little bit heavier, I mean like one more pass. I normally do 2 passes, 1 pass this way, 1 pass that way. I think I did 3 or 4 this time. I'm cooking these really hot and really fast and really smoky. So I'm not gonna try and spend 6 hours cooking this today. I wanna spend about 3.5. I'm also gonna wrap earlier. So I wanna get as much color as I can on these ribs before I go and wrap them. All right, guys, so like always, I'm gonna let this sit out for about 15, 20 minutes at room temp. I want that salt to really activate and start to get kind of a wet, shiny look to it. That lets me know it's ready to actually get on the cooker today and get smoked. So during that time, while that sits out, I'm gonna spend that 20 minutes going to fire up the M&M and getting it ready for today's cook. All right, guys, these have set out for about 20 minutes now. The salt's activated. I've got the M&M fired up. I'm gonna cook today between 300 and 325 on this rotisserie. I'm also gonna cook on the top rack, which, believe it or not, something I did not believe until I got a rotisserie was the top rack is still actually cooks hotter than the bottom racks do. So again, we're going for a smoky, hot, fast cook on these pork ribs today. We're gonna get a lot of color, a lot of smoke, a lot of flavor. We're gonna wrap them early. We're gonna overcook the absolute poop out of these things to get those bones out of there and make it the best McRib sandwich that Ronald's ever seen. All right, these pork ribs are done. They have rested down. They're ready to be cut into, deboned, and made into a beautiful McRib. Oh yeah, these are way overcooked, just like you like at McDonald's.
Yeah, we want it.
All right, guys, the pork ribs are ready to cut into. Let's assemble the better than McRib. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Way overcooked, but just how Ronald McDonald likes it. You are a sick clown, Ronald. It's on a hoagie roll, so we found the closest thing we could to the McRib hoagie roll. This hurts my soul how overcooked these are. We do this for you. Let's cut into these bad boys. As you can see, it just comes clean on out. And just because this is YouTube, we're gonna do a third bone. All right, we're gonna go ahead and remove the cartilage too while we're here. Don't want to hear any whiny comments about that, so we'll just go ahead and get them on out of there. All right, there's the overcooked McRib sandwich. Let's get our rib glaze, which is what we're gonna use for the McRib barbecue sauce. You can purchase our rib glaze in the link down below. It's also on our Patreon as well. Subscribe to that. This sauce is way better than anything you can get at Mickey D's. This is gonna be for my boy Shane. He's my best friend. I know y'all think that I don't like him, but I don't know where that's coming from. He is the best PA that money can buy.
That's so disrespectful. All right, tell us what else is going on.
All right. We go ahead and got the pickles on there, and the McRib is never complete without the sliced onion. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to fold this thing over. This thing is so big. But I'm making this just for my best friend, Shane. And that there is the Bar-A McRib. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We're better than you. All right, we finally have everything assembled and ready to actually dive into. Believe it or not, my fat self was not a McDonald's connoisseur, but I do know a buddy of mine that loves Mickey D's. So let's bring him on in. Shane.
That's me, man.
What's up, dude?
How are you?
My Boston boy. I know you grew up on Mickey D's. You loved it.
I do.
You told me some fantasies you have of the McRib. So
I did not. I did not tell you any of those things.
I did my best to make what I could.
Yeah,
so.
this looks pretty solid. It looks better than a regular McDonald's burger. So
I didn't say it, so send the cease and desist to him, Ronald. But I figured you should be the one to dive into it and tell me how close, or did I do better? Did I do worse? You gonna tell me?
What if I say you did worse?
Well, then we wasted an entire day. So it is
All
what
right.
it is.
I'm gonna try the Big Mac first because that's usually what I get if
Tear
I'm going
into
to
it, dude.
McDonald's.
That's the most
All right.
iconic one.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely bigger.
It's bigger. I like that you added the second piece of cheese. And you sauced it up pretty good too, so.
I put a good amount of the sauce on it.
Yeah.
You told me you're a saucy guy.
I am a saucy guy. Yeah, you nailed it. Sauce is perfect. You wouldn't be able to tell that it wasn't straight from McDonald's.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. So
No, I'm a huge mac sauce person.
there you go. We nailed the Mickey D's mac sauce.
I like the brisket burger.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. There's a lot more flavor there. You cooking it on that griddle too, I think it adds a nice like kind of smokiness. Like it reminds you a little bit of Texas barbecue.
Yeah. Anything with prime brisket is never gonna be bad. So I figured we had a good shot at beating the Big Mac with that.
Yeah, for sure. Now I gotta try your fries.
They're twice fried.
Twice fried?
In the beef tallow.
Oh yeah, that makes a difference. What's the seasoning on it?
That is the Rio seasoned salt.
I eat a lot of these.
All right. The one that seems to stir up the most controversy online is the McRib. You either hate it or you love it. And you told me that you are team love it.
Dude, I'm down for pretty much anything at McDonald's besides the fillet of fish.
Well, these are actual real ribs, not whatever they're calling ribs. So, you can pick it
Damn,
up,
that's a
dude.
beefy sandwich though, dude. All right, I'm just gonna get after it. I will say, the rib glaze on there brings it to like another level.
Better than the McRib sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, I know the ribs are overcooked, but they're not. For this sandwich, like they need to be. I feel like if there was like some chew to them, then the sandwich texture would be terrible. I know the real version is just a pork meat patty. So it's not real ribs, it's just shaped like a rib.
Tell me where you get a pork meat patty on the pig, folks. Comment down below. Guys, Shane, how do we do? Better, worse?
Better, way better. And I feel like this is something that like anybody could do at home if they had, some time.
Shane, thanks for coming out, dude. I really appreciate you coming
course,
back
man.
on the channel. You're awesome as always. Thank y'all for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Take care and God bless.